Good afternoon, everyone. I am Kriti, a second year student at MVJ College of Engineering. Participant, please type 1 in the chat box if my audio is clear to you. MVJCE Alumni Association welcomes all of you. Our esteemed speaker, Mr. Raghuram Panyam, Principal Dr. P. Mahabaleshwarappa, Vice Principal Dr. M. Brinda, the participants and other panelist members for the webinar where students and alumni get complete exposure and guidance from STAR alumni. First, I would like to call upon Dr. P. Mahabaleshwarappa, Principal MVJCE, for the welcome address.
Thank you. Good afternoon to one and all connected to this online the program which is organized by the MVJ College of Engineering Alumni Association portal. On behalf of the management, on behalf of my institution, MVJ College of Engineering, today I am extremely happy to be a part of the online program which is organized for the benefit of the students of our institution, those who are in the final year and the pre-final year students. Respected Speaker of the August occasion and the Chief Guest, Shri Raghuram Panyam, respected HOD of the Electronics and Communication Engineering Department, Hamim Shanwaz, respected Alumni Coordinator, Main Coordinator, Dr. Shima Ramesh, and various faculty members and the HODs of the various departments, and my dear students of the outgoing batch of the various departments of our institution. Today, I am extremely happy to extend a very hearty and warm welcome to Raghuram on behalf of the management, on behalf of the institution, on behalf of all the final year students of our institution, on behalf of particularly the Alumni Association of our institution. A gracious and warm welcome to you, sir, for this interaction and the webinar, which is so beautifully, it has been planned and designed for the benefit of the outgoing students of the various branches of our institution. I would like to, it's a very rare occasion and the platform where we meet across with eminent personalities like Raghuram, who was graduated from our institution from the Department of the Mechanical Engineering during 1988. The day when Raghuram has stepped out of the portal of the MEJC, he has worked in various organizations, various mechanical industries. That to all the industries wherever he has discharged his responsibilities as an engineer, mechanical engineer, all the industries are the premier industries. I would like to share a few among them: Bosch, Bharat Fitz Werner, and Tata Power Solar. And he has worked in the various capacities also. After gaining the vast, the very rich experience, he started his own, the industry. Now currently he is the co-founder and the director of the Energy Star Technologies. It's a very, very proud and honor to have you on this occasion. So again, a gracious welcome to you, sir, for the webinar. Now,
thank you.
The program is so kind enough for our request, which is made by the Alumni Association. And we have been waiting from a long time to have this kind of interaction and to motivate and to inspire. See, when the alumni of our institution, when they speak to address to our own students of those who are in the final year, I think this becomes a motivation and also inspiration to all the students. I wanted to become like this. I wanted to rise to these heights. This is one of the main motto and the vision with which we have regularly we have been interacting with our own graduated students from the various departments and the branches, and to share their the industry exposure, industry experiences. So that is another learning experience for the final year and the pre-final year students of the various branches to learn out of the box, out of the curriculum. So this is one such webinar. It has been organized by the Alumni Association of MUJCE. Sir is going to interact and to give key elements, key aspects of how to crack an interview, how to successfully answer, apt answers is to be given for an interview, in interview questions, and also how to prepare, how to present ourselves in the form of a resume, and to prepare all of you ready for the setting your careers. And with this, I extend a warm welcome to the Dr. Hamim Shanwaz, who is the HOD and the professor and HOD of the Electronics and Communication Engineering Department. I extend a warm welcome to Shima Ramesh. She has organized, coordinated many number of times. Madam has connected truly with all the graduated students of our institution to invite. Shortly, we are going to invite all the graduated students to our campus to have an alumni interaction and alumni meeting. Once this, the university, since the university and the autonomous exams are going on in the campus, when these exams are completed, we wanted to have this kind of the interaction with all our graduated students of our institution. I welcome the various coordinators of the department, alumni coordinators of various departments, and lastly, my lovely students of the final year of various branches who are truly connected to the online mode of the webinar, and they're all eager to witness and to enjoy the presentation of the words of the Raghuram. Now I thank the coordinator, various coordinators, and the main coordinator, Dr. Shima Ramesh, for having invited me on this August occasion to address all of you. I think this is going to be a very, very fruitful and encouraging for all the final year students. And to not only this, writing down and cracking the interviews, you should set a goal and you should set an objective that I wanted to become like Raghuram. So these are the very rarest occasions in your the study period. So this is one such occasion where you can have a close interaction one-to-one with. Feel free to ask whatever, so that it's an occasion to get all your doubts clear, so that it is going to give you a good level of the confidence to crack the coming interviews and various the campus drives. I wish on behalf of the management and the institution, on behalf of the Alumni Association, this program is going to be a very benefit in large scale to the outgoing students of the various branches of our institution. Once again, I thank everyone for having invited me on this August occasion. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir, for that warm welcome address. Now, I'd like to welcome today's star alumni, speaker, Mr. Raghuram Panyam, with a brief introduction. Mr. Raghuram Panyam is an alumnus from MVJCE, having a BTech degree in mechanical engineering. He is the co-founder, director, Energy Star Technologies Private Limited, which started as a solar-focused home utilities platform, is presently active developing concept to commercialization of AI and IoT products for intelligent solar integrated applications and for demand aggregation and deployment of distributed solar solutions. He is also the advisor, Micrologic Integrated Systems Private Limited, which has been in business since 2006, providing and manufacturing automation solutions for auto ancillary, pharma, and other manufacturing industries. With strong in-house capabilities to develop and manufacture related electrical, electronics, and mechanical assemblies, along with seamless integration of necessary software and firmware control. Micrologic is able to provide concept to commissioning of automation in Industry 4 system solutions to the clients. He is experienced in project management, competency development, business strategist, product development, and systems engineering with specialities in product development, technology management, and consultancy. I now request Mr. Raghuram Panyam to deliver his talk. Over to you, sir. I would request the participants to drop your questions in the Q&A session so that we could discuss the same at the end of the presentation. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's very nice and very. It's my pleasure to be part of this program. It's very nice to be associated with the younger generation who are going to be the the front runners, or probably to make the technology happen in the years to come. What I will do is, I think we'll make it very interactive. In the beginning, I'll just give you an overview of some of the thoughts of about the immediately. I know that all of you would be interested in about the placements, which probably and probably what next in your career. So give some insights into that, and then probably what we'll do is we'll just more specifically say that what are the key aspects you guys need to focus, and then how to go about doing that. Okay, and then we'll have it very interactive. Probably I don't want to go make a detailed presentation of whatever I would like to say. We'll just understand what is to be what has to be addressed, and then probably we'll have it very interactive. Okay, and yeah. See, just to give you a brief introduction of myself, I passed out of MVJC in '88, and in fact, we were the second batch of students there, and it's been 30 years. And in 30 years, we have seen so much. I would say, it's an engineer who passed out in '88 or '90, and today we are in 2022. There's so much of development which has happened in this world. So we were from an era, I would say, where we never had the Googles. What probably the access to information, you have it at Google, or probably you have the social media and these kind of things. And I would put it this way, we had a chance to work at the fundamentals of the technology, and I would put it this way, you guys are the really fortunate ones, where at this age you are coming out into this world, into the, I would say, the professional world, where in next 30 years, you'll have so much to do. I would say that there's so many areas wherein you can work on. And today, honestly, I can put it this way. There is the demarcation between engineering, engineers has come down. It's no longer like a mechanical engineer or a electronics engineer, electrical. It's not, the demarcation is so little. In fact, today everybody is an engineer. And I would put it this way, everybody should have a generalistic understanding of all the aspects. That is, in every product today, there is an element of electrical, mechanical, electronics, there's an element of software. And it is probably so eventually a little further in your career, you probably will be engineers who will understand products and who will be learning I would say, the technology and the happenings in this world more quickly and adapt to the products. So I'll just quickly run through few slides. Okay. So, I thought that, okay, just to give a structure to the presentation, I thought let me put across some of the points. So now for most of you as engineers, who are just coming out of the college, you always there's a question in your mind, what next? And the options, of course, most of you know, but just to point out, one is, of course, the key thing is the campus placements, and every college today, every premier college do provide good placement or opportunities for the students. But yes, that's not just, that's just one of the options I would put it. there are many other options to find a job today. It's campus placements happens to be just one of it. And say today, in fact, if you really see in today's digital era, you have plenty of job portals. If you just look at it, today, you just make a good presentation, good, I would say, profile of yourself in different social media, or probably there's Naukri, the kind of platforms you have, and there are many digital platforms. And then you have many social media platforms, the key ones would be the LinkedIn and the Twitter kind of things. You make a very good, I mean, you should be very truthful. You have to present yourself right and have your thoughts properly shared in the words what you put in there. And then, yes, you're available. I mean, your profile is available to most of the people in the industry. People will keep looking at it. And then they will immediately like say that, okay, fine. Okay, I have a need here. And this is the person whom I believe like, who can deliver the thing. And they will immediately start talking to you. And today, honestly, so it's, I would say like, it's a job seekers market. It's not like earlier days, like, where there were very few employers and the candidates had to go line up in front of them, wait for them to make a, I would say, mass recruitment or probably something. That today, for every person, there's an opportunity. So it's all about that, like, how well you prepare yourself and how well you get in line and like, and present yourself and showcase your capabilities. So then, yes, job is definitely not a difficulty today. So, so I put it this way. So to find a job today, there are enough places, like, you have the campus placements, then you have the job portals, then you have the, like, I mean, LinkedIn, Twitter kind of thing, and the networking both at with friends and like, family friends. There are enough people to help you. So people will never shy away from helping each other, and that probably is what is humanity, and it's still happening. So what I mean to say is like, just have to, people have to be very vocal in asking that, okay, there's a need, like, fine, I'm looking for a job. This is what my capability is. This is what I intend to do. Just express yourself, with friends, family, friends, everything. So definitely there will be somebody who is going to come and say that, yes, fine, here is a place, you guys go and talk to him and you just find out like, whether this works for you. So what I mean to say is like, today the opportunities and the forums and the different platforms available, it's so plenty that like, so really ending up in, I mean, if getting a job or probably like, what next in your career, there are enough options available. And then so there also, I have also seen few like, dynamic ones, like, who are I would say like, more of a self-starter kind of personalities, who just like, they just send out an email. They pick the phone and they call to the, like, I mean, finding the, I would say, the phone numbers of the decision makers in different companies is not difficult today. Just pick the call and I mean, pick the phone and make a call and ask for a referral with somebody, and then, so there are enough ways. So these are the channels, I would put it this way. And then, okay, I mean, there's one part is the jobs. Like, I also see that, like, there will be few of you like who would be wanting to do further studies and probably, I would say, equip yourself better with more specializations. So the options definitely are there. Like, you have the MTech MBAs from various Indian universities. You have a range of universities, and today, like, you want to rate and understand the quality of the university. There are enough platforms you can always make out. And then comes the, for the some of you who would like to try international education, there's always MS and MBA programs around. And then, I mean, you don't really have to have a degree also. Like, there are many places, like, where you call the finishing schools, wherein you can always work on your skill. Like, you inherently, you will be knowing that you have a skill in you, and you can always go and getting it refined and say that, yes, fine, I'm going to go in this direction. I probably have to understand a little more in this area. Yes, there are enough places, enough platforms, and today online platforms are available. Just get yourself skilled up. So never hesitate to learn. Like, learning is one of the key things. And for an engineer today, like I would put it, you should never hesitate to learn. And it has to be a continuous, I would say, effort. So learning is continuous, and today information is available at fingertips. So just keep grasping information, and actually the more information you have at your fingertips, the more you're marketable, you're available, or you're useful for the society. Yeah. And then, well, you guys will always be knowing, like, the enough for today. I would put it like, when we were like 20, 30 years back, when we used to try, like, it was like a business or something. We said that, like, we'll set up a manufacturing plant or something, manufacturing setup. Today, startup, like, say startups is something, it's a very nice word. and it gives so much of a opportunity, and I would say like, the uh, platform for any passionate engineer to try his thoughts, this thing. All you have to do is like, you just have to be very clear of what you want to do, probably work out, put in that extra efforts to bring together a prototype or a sample or something which you can demonstrate to the people. That see, today the ecosystem is so beautifully evolved. Like, there's a set of, I mean, for any student who wants to start up, there's a set of mentors who are available, like, who can just guide you through, like, I mean, one is technical, because, startup is, and there's many aspects to startup, like, one is technical, there's a business element to it. So once you have, also you have a set of mentors who can guide you on the business side, who can guide you on, I would put it like, on all the how, so the manage the finance part of the business. And there are people who are willing, who are looking for to fund startups, and any new idea is always been like, there are so many investors who are looking for new ideas. The day new ideas are probably, even it need not be a new idea also, it can be an idea which is refined, like, you probably see something and you feel that, okay, there's a way in which you can refine that in a, to make it better, more efficient, more probably cost effective, or probably useful for a wider range of people. Yes, that's an idea. So that's very well accepted. And so for probably like, for somebody, I mean, who, for some of you who might think that, okay, fine, before startup, I would just really like to have an exposure or experience, like, how it's going to be on your own, or probably try to make a business. So there are many people already who are running businesses today. Many, I mean, there so many technology companies are there, so many fintech companies are there, so many, like, engineering services companies are there. So all you have to do is just like, just, introduce yourself to them and see if you can just join them as a co-founder. And wherein, like, it's basically, see, if you really see, one thing with business is, one brain can always do so much, and two brains can really expand it. It's not 1 + 1 is 2, it's 1 + 1 is 10. So that's the big advantage, what probably even a founder will be looking for. And probably like, when you go as a co-founder, that's the scale of, I would say, like, the amplification effect what you can get. So that's a very amazing thing, like, people can always try as a co-founder with somebody. Suppose, yes, fine, if things are working good. If not, like, you can always then later on start your own startup with your own idea, with all the experience, and there's enough place for anybody to be doing business. Well, that's one part of it. And for lucky few of you, like, I believe there'll be some family business which is already running, like, and you would probably be seeing how it's been run in a particular, and probably would be seeing that, like, it's run in a particular way, and you would have built your own thought process of saying that, okay, it can be done differently, it can be improved in a particular way. So yes, family business is the easiest thing for anybody to get in, and probably, and there's so many examples which has happened, like, right from the, I mean, if you really see many Indian industries also, like, the first generation, probably they would have run the company in a particular way, and then the next generation goes and say that, yes, they really scale the business multifold. So there's so much of opportunity, so much can be done, and the ecosystem is available. So what I would like to say at the end of this particular slide here is that, like, job is one part of it, but for an engineer to do something, to have a fulfilling life and have a good monetary, I would say, like an earning ability and other things, there are many opportunities. We just have to know what we want, and we just have to look for it and approach that in the right way. So I just thought, like, just going a little further, there are few things, like, this is more on the, I would say, the attitude and the, I would say, the personality aspect. So these are some of the things which I have observed in my last 30 years of being in professional life. And many times, like, even I went into the job market, or probably when I started as an engineer and started working for a company. So my thought process was different, and there are many things which got refined, like, in the over the period of, like, so I just thought that, like, give you a glimpse of my thought process. It doesn't mean that you people have to just accept it this way. But yeah, this is what it is from what I understood from my experience. One is like, engineering is majorly application of common sense. So what I mean to say is, so it is, one has to be logical. This engineering is basically, so there's a technology available. Many universities or somebody would have invented something. So there are multiple technologies in multiple areas, multiple domains. There's new technology which could have happened in semiconductor, new technology which could have happened in electronics, in digital, in communication area. So now there are multiple applications. See, application, by application, what I mean is, sorry, by application, what I mean is like, so see, mobility is application. Like, a person has to move from point A to point B, or probably a material has to be moved from one point to another point. So there's a application. So there's a different user segment. There's different user conditions. So you just have to understand, like, there's an application, there's a need. Now, how do I bring the available technologies together, integrate it into a meaningful product, and see that, like, how it's going to benefit the application? And probably, so always you should think from the user perspective, like, or probably like, what it means for the user. So so one of the key things here is like, you should keep your eyes and ears and mind open to new things, what is happening in this world, like, new technology which is coming in. Then think rationally, like, so okay, so there's a technology, okay, there's a need. So how do I just bring this technology to meet some particular need? So that's engineering. So that's what you need to have, keep an eye on. And then of course, like, for every person, like, it's one of the key things is like, it's the knowing oneself. So it's very important, like, you should always know your strengths, weaknesses. No person I would say is 100%. It's not like, all strengths and no weaknesses. Every person has his own set of weaknesses, and it's important to identify that and then improve on that. And so if to improve, like, you should find out, like, how do I improve that, like, in the sense, what are the ways? So you should plan. Okay, in case, like, I would just to give you an example, like, so in engineering, like, probably you would be weak in one particular side of some analytics or some particular area, like, fine, and you feel that, okay, that's very important for what your career objective is. Just spend more time on that, and find alternate sources of information around that, what is available, become strong on that. And then, yes, so now you are a more complete engineer, like, you have a passion, you like something, and you know that you're equipped with enough information and capability to handle it. And you also know that you're strong on few of the areas where you thought was earlier your weakness. You have worked on that and you have come out of it. So that's basically, it helps you to develop confidence. See, confidence is in your oneself is so important. Like, if you're confident, like, you can just go approach, talk to anybody, like, present yourself. And at the end of the day, it's always like, a person has to I would say, present himself very confidently. That's when in any business interaction, it will be more fruitful. Like, I always say, a confident person, definitely he wins. So when I mean all those things, like, so work on your weakness, improve your weakness on the aspects of your weakness. Many times, like, for some people who want quick results and who tries to, like, so then I've seen few people, like, they try to fake, and just like say, okay, I would put it this way, like, if I have to go and talk something regarding something on the medical field, yes, I can't talk anything about that. So if I try to fake something about that, like, immediately the person would understand that, yes, this guy doesn't know anything about it. So he is just faking it. So, that's a very, very, I would say, broad I would say, example. But even within the engineering field, like, so if you're weak on something, work on it, collect information, get stronger. Then you can approach or probably discuss about it, or probably present yourself about it more originally. And the person who is interacting with you will also know that, like, you're not faking on that. So it's very important. So the person, I mean, wherever the interaction is there, like, the person should feel that, yes, there's originality in this person. So if somebody is original, I mean, you don't have to be so polished, or you don't have to be, I would say, like, the best of the presenter, or the best of whatever it is, right? I mean, I guess you guys would have seen many of the presentations on television, like, Mukesh Ambani. I mean, I personally see that he's not a great orator, but yes, he's a very successful businessman. What I mean to say is, it's not the polish which is important, it's the originality, it's the completeness which is important. And that's what actually people will identify in you and probably will carry you further. And then thinking further, like, I would say, like, all of you are now Bachelor of Engineers, right? And few of you might go in as for masters, for specialization. Yes, I would say out of 100, maybe about 30, 40 might chase the post-graduation or things. There are many reasons, like, it's personal choice. It's, a lot of ecosystem, I would say, like, the family possibilities, everything. So a lot of aspects matter for that. So now when I am talking here more as an engineer. An engineer that is a BE, BTech engineer is more a generalist. So what I mean by generalist is, like, so he's trained to think logically. He's trained to think with apply his common sense, and he's trained to probably look at some in case there's identify a problem and say that, okay, fine, okay, to solve this problem, I need to collect this information. I need all this information. And he's trained, so his brain is trained to read through the information, or probably know about the information, discuss about the information, go in search of the information where it's available. The information can even be available in, exhibitions, or probably museums, anywhere, like, in the sense, some product, if you're this thing, somebody would have done somewhere. So today you have enough places, you have YouTubes and other things. So you'll be trained to easily look at, identify what you want, and you're trained to check, look for where the information is available, go through that, understand that. So with this capability, so engineer will probably, like, be an engineer who is curious, who is, like, and a quick learner. He will be able to integrate any product. See, today, in today's world, I would put it this way. So see, there is earlier days, like, there was a bicycle. It was 100% mechanical product. And today, see, bicycle has turned electric vehicle. So I would say, so there's now mechanical product, there's an integration of electrical, electronics, to have the controls of that. You have the electronics, and you have, like, today, going further, like, the electric two-wheelers, what probably you would be seeing on Ather or probably the Ola thing. There's an element of telematics, wherein you have the vehicle data which is being transmitted to the server. There's analytics. So what is today, it's the earlier day two-wheeler, a bicycle, has become a more complete product today, which has a integration of various aspects. There's a mechanical, there's electronics, there's software, firmware, telematics, and then probably, the way people try to sell it, you have the digital platforms to sell it. So a simple bicycle has evolved as a complete product today, which is, so it's very important for an engineer to say that, should not say that, like, I'm a mechanical engineer. So when somebody say a mechanical engineer, like, when somebody say that, okay, I have this electronic component, this does this. Yeah, I've seen that many engineers, like, who says that, oh no, I'm a mechanical engineer, probably I won't understand. I'll see that somebody else will come and talk to you, kind of. You always, any person can easily understand what the product is, what the specification says, and little bit of Googling here and there, they'll know that what that specifications means to the product. And probably it can even be software, like, so you don't really have to say, in case like a mechanical engineer or electronics engineer, You don't really have to go and chasing doing the coding part of it, but you can always understand the specifications and probably the features of that. And probably in case when I mean our software, probably today the apps, you can get how the app has to be like, the interlinked, and probably there's an API aspect around that. So what I mean to say is, an engineer can easily train himself to in the other areas which is like, active, which is the requirement of the industry today, quickly, and adopt to become a more complete generalist engineer. So it's very important. So unless when a few engineers like, who wants to become very specialized in something, then yes, the stream is clear. You have to go for post graduation, or probably do some research in something. If somebody is really passionate about that, you have to go in search of such universities or institutes where you find all the research elements of it. So it's very important to be a generalist engineer. So this is what I learned from my experience being a generalist engineer. And this is what I've seen like, everywhere. So one needs to be very, very open to learn and understand technical and even the other aspects from the other streams of engineering also. And then comes, so many times I've seen that like, at least even this generation also, probably from our generation, like engineering, why did you do engineering? So I would say 30 years back, like, it was probably many people were thinking that an engineer can earn more. So that probably I would say it's just a notional thing. I don't really see that. It's all about like, what one can do in life, and how one applicates himself into whatever he's doing. That's what really matters in success. And that's where I always think that like, engineering is like, I can classify engineers into two: engineer by choice and engineer by chance. So I would put it this way: so a guy who's passionate, I would say, wanting to develop something, wanting to learn on the technical stream, on the, I would say, the whatever in building on the product side of the thing, and be useful for a particular side of it. Many engineers, they do so much work in the healthcare side also. Like, at the end of the day, they're helping improve the overall healthcare system in the country or in the world. So what I mean to say is, a person, engineer, should have passion. So it's very important to have passion. And so I have also seen engineers who end up probably like, being, just to quote, not really offending anybody, like, so I have seen engineers who just manager in some bank or something, doing something. It's totally unrelated thing. Yeah, so probably yes, it will give him a living. He'll earn money. He may earn little more money also. But yeah, in the long run, I would say, I personally see that engineer by choice is the one probably who will win in his accomplishments. And probably accomplishment, when I mean, is the satisfaction what one achieves in life. So in the sense like, so the yardstick of success, or probably the measure of success. Yes, money is one part of it. And I have seen in today's world, in case even somebody is chasing money, I know, today, the general lifestyle is so good that like, money is not really the key thing. But even if probably money is the key thing, like, one would easily achieve the success or probably sufficient income in their life in less than 10 years after this thing. So then you still have to keep working. You still have to, I would say, contribute to whatever you're doing, your profession, your career, and further, like, for your life. So that's where actually the passion carries you. So or else, like, if people work for only money, then you don't really have to work after 10 years. So that's just not life. So it's very important to have passion. identify what you want in life and keep working on that. And 99% money is a byproduct. The moment you start living life for your passion, money will immediately follow. So this, I just thought that, no, this is slightly off from what it is, but I just thought that let me share from my experience. So yeah. So now, is there anything queries, or should I'll just take you through next 1 or 2 slides and then probably go to the more specific on the, you know, the way the CV is made and probably the, okay. Hello.
Yes, sir, that would be better. You continue, sir. We will keep the question answer session in the end.
Okay, fine. Yeah. Okay, fine. So I was just coming to more specific to the job search, because I thought that this is more relevant for you guys now. So what I put to go here is like, you know, if you see campus placements. So I know everybody will keep chasing the campus placements. I would say majority of you. And yes, in the, every college can do only so much in terms of campus placements. You know, they have their own network. They influence the different corporates to come in and look at you people, and then every company also, like, you know. So there's always a commercial reality to the industry, like, you know, the placements or the intake by any company. Like, you know, if you really see, like, you know, the kinds of Infosys, HCLs and others, you would have probably, if you follow the media, you see some of the years they will take, say, tens of thousands of people. In few years, like, you know, probably the last year, like COVID times and all, the intake is less. So what I mean to say is there's always a commercial reality for every company, and that is what dictates probably, like, you know, how many people they take. And this is something like, you know, so see, so all of you, like, you know, you study and you can't, so you probably, as you are getting graduated this year, so it's important, like, you know, I mean, there's an element of, I would say, luck or probably a coincidence, where if the commercial reality is good, yes, you guys are better picked. You know, I would say out of 100 people, like, you know, more percentage of the people will get picked. So if the on any particular year or any particular, like, you know, I would say like it's a slightly I would say the country is going through recession or something like that. Like, you know, yes, even the companies will be choosing how many people they pick and whom they want to pick. So what I mean to say is campus placements, yes, every institute, every college keep working. They put so much efforts. I've seen that. I think, you know, every college, your principals, your HODs, your coordinators, they keep helping you to train you on, like, you know, how to present yourself and how. So what does campus placements from the college means? It's basically, they'll help you to identify the potential employer and they'll prepare you to present yourself. That's one part of it. So from then onwards, ultimately the onus is on oneself, like, you know. So any person, I mean, the person is, okay, you get hired. So from that point, yes, you still have to prove yourself to the employer or the manager or this thing. So you should understand, so you should be quick to understand the requirements of the company and your role in the company and how you're going to contribute, like, you know, how quickly you start contributing to the company. So everything basically, and then you have to continuously keep learning new things in the company. You can't say that, okay, I come with this set of learning. Yes, as a mechanical engineer, like, you know, I know machine design, I know strength of materials, I know this, but okay, so somebody says that, okay, check something on the electronics or something on the, this particular app is working or not. No, you can't say that, no, I don't know. So you should be able to quickly adopt, look at it, be curious, find out things and try to work through that. So this is the key requirement for every student who is going out of college. So it's very important for you to develop your ability, your aptitude and attitude to carry on yourself in the job what you have got. So now, so suppose, okay, so yes, there are different streams, you know, few streams will have better campus placements, few will have slightly less. That again, like I told you, like, you know, it depends on the industry and probably, like, you know, whether the country is manufacturing focused or whether the country is more, I would say, IT focused or agricultural focused. So it all depends on many factors. That's how the economy is there. Like, so for some, like, for whatever reason, like, they may not end up getting placed in campus placements. So then what do you do? So this is where probably you have to spend little more efforts. So like I told you in the beginning, the opportunities are plenty. Yeah, so today's world, you have so many opportunities, like in the sense, so all you have to do is prepare yourself, make yourself be available, presentable to the opportunities. So how do we do that? So one is build a good presentable CV, and then of course, there are many portals wherein you can register yourself. Then then the social media where you should be active, and you should be active relevantly. It's very important. So people will really look at your social media profile before taking a decision. Of course, if not much for the entry level candidates, but as you move on in your career, like, your social media profile is very important. Like, how well you maintain, how well you present yourself on that. And then comes the, there are many fairs, forums, events keeps happening, job fairs, or even probably the normal trade fair, which keeps happening. Like, there are many industry decision makers will be there, and probably you can just be there. Be, I would say, vigilant and look for somebody who's there and initiate a dialogue, start talking to them. That can give you an initial, like, I would say, opportunity to probably go and meet them further and start talking further and see where you can be useful for them. So these are the opportunities. And then, yes, you have to be bold. So you should be ready to make cold calls, or probably, like, make introductory emails, follow. Yes, out of probably 100 you do, like, there will be 30, 40 who may just cut you off, who may just reject you, all those things. But you should never feel, I would say, sentimental or probably, like, emotional about it. Just you should think as though, like, you are doing your part of your job, and see that, like, out of some, like, the few will definitely respond and carry the discussion forward. So this is an opportunity. So when one person says that, no, I don't want you, don't disturb me and all, probably, yes, that particular person might not be the right employer for you also. So that doesn't mean that you are not employable. So it's very important for you to feel confident. You are always an employable engineer. You have come out of this thing, you have some capability, you're trained to be in the job market or in the professional career market, like, So all you have to do is you should be bold enough to approach. You should talk to the people, present yourself, and yes, there are few doors which will open up. And then comes the like, a few people, like, I mean, yes, I've seen, like, many of the candidates or many engineers, especially in the initial years of their career, they are little shy, like, one is probably like, unless your approach to, they don't open up, So what it means is they won't have the initiative to go and ask for a job or take a task or do something, get into a conversation with people and these kind of things. So probably, yes, for a person like that, yes, he might need some help in terms of, like, developing his soft skills. So it basically means, like, he may not be able to do himself. He needs a mentor. He needs somebody, yes, who is good at that. Like, there are many forums, or there are many people who are willing to help. And you just go approach them saying that, yes, I have a problem in this area. I need to improve my abilities on this area. Please help me. And there are today, I would say, professional and I would say, structured way of training people. Yes. So this is the area. So one has to be very, one is, like I told you, understand your weaknesses, and you should never hesitate to identify a mentor, ask him. Yes, there are many people who are willing to help. So this is one area. And other thing is, like, I would put it this way, you have to be flexible. So I have seen, like, again, this is even from my experience in my earlier part of this thing. Uh, it's very important to keep learning on job. Then saying that, okay, I'm learning something, with getting ready for something, and then I'll go find a job. I've seen like an engineer who says that I just want to do like, CFD analysis, computational flow dynamics. Like says, I just don't want to do anything else. And after 2 years after engineering, he's still waiting for a job. I've seen that because he got enough other opportunities. Probably like I have seen him getting a opportunity in an engineering service company where he could have done some SolidWorks activity or something, do the engine. He said he was very clear that I want only analysis, and he's going on training himself and other things. What I mean to say is it's very important for every person to get into the available opportunity, get in there, keep learning on job. And if you really have a specific passion or a specific interest, keep learning after your office hours or after your this thing. So today you have 24 hours, you probably spend 8 or 10 hours on your job, and you still have another 4 or 5 hours which you can spend for yourself. And that probably can give you your next job, and more self-satisfying and probably more rewarding also. So it's very important to be flexible. Don't keep waiting for the perfect job. The perfect job never happens when you're waiting. The perfect job will happen when you're working towards it. It's very important. And then comes, one has to be patient, and you should keep persevering the opportunities which is coming. Yes, there's always, I would put it this way, hard days and good days. So I would say, I think now most of us would have understood what is the past COVID few months, like, everybody being locked down in house, like, you feel that you're ready to do so much, you can do so much, but you're not able to go out and do things. So if you're not, so, I mean, I would say, like, if you're not really working on yourself and trying to improve yourself during that time, you'll start feeling so low, saying that, see what's happening, I'm not able to do something, and you start going off mode, which is not right. So it's always important to work on yourself, to keep your activities on a, I would say, you being active on a continuous basis. Keep, while you're working for your whatever the dream job, I would say the passion or the area of passion or your startup, it's important to be patient and keep doing what is available, keep doing a good job at whatever is available while preparing yourself to whatever you want in life. So that's importance of the patience. And this is something I think you guys will always know, like, so today with all these Facebooks and other things, I've seen people more looking at what are somebody XYZ is doing in his career, and probably that guy will only post probably a big car here he would have bought, or probably a holiday where he has gone somewhere, skiing somewhere, mountain climbing somewhere, all those things. But probably he would not really be talking about, like, his boss bashing at him in the office, or probably he is not able to deliver something. So those things never come on the social media. So it so happens that, like, we only look at these happy pictures and happy things, and we say that, oh, he's so happy, I'm not, and finally start looking, very, I would say, depressed. So which actually is a very vicious cycle, and people go down much down. So it's very important to isolate, I would say, insulate yourself from all these aspects. Look at social media only as probably, like, as entertainment to an extent, and probably for networking. Don't really try to follow or just to chase the success of what other person would have got or what he projects himself, because each person's career, each person's life is very, it's not, I would put it this way, like, no two person's career or life is same. Each person has to live his own life. It's very important in life. So just going further, I'll quickly go through. So I spoke so much of the opportunities, and I said, like, there's so much happening in the country. So I being in the industry, like, and most of this, like, it's I can say that these are the active areas which is available for engineers today. Like, these are the happening things. And each of this industry is wanting mechanical engineers, they need electronics engineers, software engineers, firmware engineers, like, that you, so these are all industries where you need engineers of multiple disciplines. So electric mobility, like, see today, electric two-wheelers, there, I would say at least, since I'm very closely involved with that industry, I can see at least more than 40 or 50 electric two-wheeler companies which is operating in this country in different shapes and sizes. And there's also electric four-wheelers are coming in, and then you have off-road vehicles of electric. So the electric mobility is the happening thing, and you are in a, like I told you earlier, there's an integration of, there's a mechanical, there's a electronics, electrical, there's even chemical, if you think battery as a chemical thing. So there's so many things which is there, like, so that's a real happening thing. Somebody is really passionate about mobility or auto industry, ideal for them to look at this industry. And then, yes, once I talk of electric mobility, lithium battery is another thing. And every electric mobility, and today, in fact, like, lithium batteries are at advantage for the simple reason, like, it is non-toxic. They're toxic, like, so like, unless earlier days there was nickel cadmium batteries where it was hazardous material. So people are moving to lithium. One is it is lightweight, it has got better power storage density, and today it is the in thing with every electric vehicle. So, and many companies are getting into the manufacture of this. Yes, raw material still has to be imported, but you still have, from the raw material, there's so many processes to manufacture a battery. So this is an area, a good area, which is happening and which is real at scalable things. Many big companies like Reliance, Adani's, and everybody are coming into this. And then, of course, the solar manufacturing industry, solar panels, again, it's very similar to the battery industry. Like, there are many companies, the raw materials, of course, might come from imported, but from that point onwards, converting that raw material, the solar cell to the solar panel, and then building the electronics, and then building the projects around that. And, there's engineering and development ecosystem required for that. So that's a big area, an area which is scaling. And if you really see, like, there is, I would say, target of reaching 200 gigawatts of solar in probably actually in next 4 to 5 years. We are already around 50 gigawatt in this country. So that's this. So there's a factor of 4 by which, like, this industry can scale up. So a lot of people are required. Things are happening. Today it's a very mature industry. And then comes the industry 4.0 and machine vision, this kind of thing. So this is a very interesting thing for. So not just mechanical engineers, it's for even for a computer science engineer, like, so industry 4, I would put it this way. It's what industry 4 is basically, people are trying to create a digital twin of the manufacturing line. So you have a manufacturing line, probably you would have seen in some places, or probably at least in movies or somewhere. So there's a process, every product needs to go through a process, and you need machinery for that. So now in today's world, like, the product life cycles have come down, like, so people need a new model, new version of the product. So what it means is, like, the machining line, the machine manufacturing line has to be very flexible. So, and to create the flexibility, so what people are doing is they're picking all the data from the machines, and then there's going to be a digital twin, like, in the sense, you probably will have a big dashboard or probably a big screen in your office. You'll see all the information coming from each of the machine, and if you want to change the machine line, or probably adopt the machine line for another variant of a product or another version of a product, just by slightly modifying a few of the parameters on the digital twin or on the screen, you can immediately make the machine manufacture the new variant. So this is in thing which is happening. So this is a great field to be in, and machine vision is another area where, like, today cameras and I would say, like, audiovisual equipments have become so sophisticated, and I would say so accurate. So So even most of the earlier days, what people used to do in, I would say, mechanical way or a manual way of quality checks, today machine vision is doing it and with 100% accuracy and speed, which is unimaginable. So that's the great field to be in. And then semiconductor, I don't know whether you guys would have been following on the media now. People are talking of the shortage in semiconductor, and hence, many industries, they're not able to deliver some of the cars or bikes and other things. So semiconductor is a great area to be in. Like, so there's so many customized IC chips or integrated or microcontrollers, microprocessors which are required for different applications. So this is an area where, like, one is that, and second is like, having the chip design which is more customized and then adapt to make it a product and in bulk requirements. So this is a great field to be in. Say earlier days, still recent, most of these industries happen to be in, Singapore, Korea, Taiwan, this kind of things. And now India is very actively getting into this. It's a great field to be in. There's so much to be done. So it's a very nice field to be in. Then wireless telecommunication, yes, this is right from, I would say, the commercial, consumer, and even defense areas. The wireless telecommunication is a great area, and a lot of things are happening there. And then comes the app development, which all of you would be knowing. So today there's an app for everything, and you can build an app for every conceivable idea. Then satellite technology. I mean, it's so nice. Like, if I've seen in the recent days, there are many startups which are building, small micro satellites, which probably they say put it on some the vehicles, this spacecraft, and they're putting into this, and that's each of the satellite, like, they're building it for a specific purpose. One is probably to pick the agricultural data. There will be satellite which is to pick up some particular other data, weather data, and something. So today, so much of customization is happening in the satellite area. It's basically people are able to build satellite to various applications or various requirements, and they're able to work closely with the government bodies like ISRO or NASA or something like that, and put their products and take it. So this is a great area. This is happening. And then defense electronics. Yes, this is the thing which is happening, and if without this today, probably, like, the country will lose out. And so there's a race for this to improve a lot. And one of the key things in a case of defense, any product or any technology which goes to defense is it has to be 99.9% reliable. So what it means is this all this will be at a grade one step above the rest, and which is where, because cost is not really a criteria here. It's all the reliability and the safety of the people who use it. So this is a great area to be in. There are different applications which are happening. And then comes the aerospace industry. In India, of course, aerospace, like, we probably don't build a Boeing or a Airbus, but we in India, we are part of most of the sub assemblies or the components which goes to this aircraft. Today, right from cable harness to the mechanical components, the digital software. So there are many companies and pick up these projects from this larger aircraft builders, and they deliver it to them. So this area to be in. And then comes the drones. Drone is something which is the emerging industry, and applications are plenty. There's industrial, there's agricultural. So many are there. And of course, people are also talking of the flying cars and other things. And then comes the automation. So I just industry 4, automation, logistics, everything are very interrelated areas where it's all about, like, the end application. But ultimately, like, the kind of technology and the kind of integration activity is very similar. Then healthcare, like, and yes, healthcare, it's been I would say sort of a neglected area. I mean, what I've seen in the last 20, 30 years. But now I think the past 2 years, because of all this COVID and other things, this has come into the limelight, and we have seen the lacuna in this country, or, like, where we are not doing. And so it's ultimately, it's all about this, it's the same technology integration, probably the end application is different. So but the focus has gone in there now, and I believe that this is going to be a industry which is really going to make which is going to scale up and which is going to make noise in terms of coming out with new initiatives, new kind of products in next few years. Then e-commerce, yes, there anything, and this is something like, it's more of a digital. One is you have the platform development, but you also have the it is enabling so many, or integrating, or I would say like aggregating many different end users in terms of the right from the small business houses or small shops, and there are enough areas, and it's also helping companies to brand themselves in a better way, and probably even reach an unbranded product to a consumer, which probably was not thinkable few years back. So this is a great area to be in. There are a lot of technologies there, and today there are areas where augmented reality is wherein like you sort of give a 3D visualization of a product or something. This on the technology side, a lot of things are happening here, and which probably you'll start seeing in some of this, like probably the Flipkarts and Amazons in the near future. So then comes the organic farming. So people have realized the importance of quality life and the better food what they have. So, and also see one thing, I mean, see, India has 60% people or manpower working in agricultural sector, but the output from agricultural sector is hardly about 15 to 20% to the, I would say the per capita, I would say the national income, okay, the revenues. So people have identified that, and there's a, even in the policy with the policymakers, there's a lot of understanding of that. So now with all the technology available, like, you can sort of automate the production. I mean, I would say the growing of a farm, like, the farming, automate the farming. And that's where this aquaponics or hydroponics comes into picture, wherein there's a lot of sensors which picks the ecosystem or the environment where the plants are grown, and it adjusts that. And, there's a lot of automation in there. So there's a lot of data which gives a real-time correction. Things are happening. So the yield from the farm, people are able to get 4 to 5 folds increase in the yield from the farm, and it's more income, better this thing, so better way of it, no wastage. So this is a great area to be in, and things are happening here. This is evolving very rapidly. And then yes, you would have probably been aware of this in the past 2 years, the EdTech and online training, tuitions and other things, which the kind of Byju's and others are doing it. Yes, this is going to be there, but I still feel that the offline education is still going to be, I would say, the majority of your this thing, because see, even here, say I'm making a presentation, but I don't know the expressions on your faces. I don't know if some of you would have been like, are you still in a seat, or probably would have fallen asleep kind of thing. No, I won't know. But where that's the advantage of an offline way of interaction, and probably even this thing. I can probably had I been giving this presentation offline, I would have seen you. I would have made eye contact with few of you, understood whether I'm really giving the right information or not. Now I don't know. I'm just doing some speech. Yes. So now this EdTech eventually, probably once it goes little more intelligent, and probably where it can capture the emotional aspects of the viewer and other things, probably it's going to be better. But till then, probably offline education is still going to be there majorly. But this will also, there will be coexistence of this with that. And then comes the product engineering service, which you would have known about Infosys, HCL, and Tech Mahindra, and many other companies who basically get engaged with many of the international companies, tech companies like the Googles, or probably Applied Materials, or some of these larger companies. Pick the projects, pick a small element of the project, take everything, build the whole thing right from prototyping to manufacturing, engineering, testing, validation, so documentation. There's so many areas which are happening, and this is a ever-growing industry. And we Indians having an advantage in terms of the language and probably a good understanding on the technical aspects. Yes, we have an edge on this compared to many other countries. So this is going to be a growing industry. Today it's a really very mature industry. So there are enough positions, and this is probably one of the industries which picks engineers in real good numbers each year. And then I don't know much about blockchain or crypto, but I see that it's an evolving industry, and many big industry leaders are talking for it, like Elon Musk and others. So I don't have much to share on that. Yeah. So now coming more specific to the, I think 4:15. Yeah. Okay. I'll just very quickly close this. So it's all about, see, if you have to make a CV, right? This is more important when you have to present yourself in the world outside, outside the campus. I would say, like placements. So the CV is very, very important. Like it should be very crisp. It should be clutter free in the sense, like and it should communicate most of the information and highlight what your passion is, what you are in one sheet. So that is the key requirement of a CV. So one of the things which I think somebody whom I spoke to long back, he said the information on a page should be spread so that, like if you just imagine that, like you have this paper, one sheet of paper on a finger of your hand, like you just try to balance it. It should balance itself. That means the spread of information in the colors, everything on the page should be evenly spread. It should not be like too much of one color or something like that, too much of darkness or too much of contrast, which strains the eye of the the person who is going to look at your CV. So especially for you people, like as freshers, so what is important for you, like so the key things which will come in here is, like your talk in brief about 5 to 8 lines or 10 lines about yourself, which is more about what your interest is, what your strength is, kind of thing, and which kind of industry or what you aspire to be. So very briefly, so that, like a person who reads that paragraph should be able to connect. Say it's like this. Say when a hiring process happens, a hiring manager, he will be given a requirement in the company, like so we just take some Infosys. So there's a hiring manager. So there's some manager from the internal manager who would have said that, okay, for my particular documentation division, I need this interns. So now what this person will be looking for is, he will be looking for your ability in making manufacturing documentation, or probably like processing the documentation and this kind of things. So somewhere I would like to see that your interest, or probably that inclination of you for that kind of thing in your CV. I just give you documentation is one of it. Probably some electric vehicle, somebody is building a new controller for electric vehicle. So then that manager probably will ask the HR that, okay, so I need somebody who can work on the, I would say, the software side of it, or an app for a particular feature in that electric vehicle. So now he would like to see that, like what your capabilities are, how well you are understood in terms of the programming skills, or probably understanding of the apps and what it is, and your interest, what you want to be, those kind of things. So when the hiring manager looks at a profile, something like that, immediately pick the phone and he'll start talk to you. So it's very important. So that means it's important for you to really tell what you are, what your aspiration is in your CV, and it need not be the same as what your friend's CV is going to be. So like I always said that you should, CV is like I would say, like it's your horoscope or something, whatever it is. No, it basically depicts what you are and what you want to be. So this is the key thing which has to come out. And most time the hiring managers spend very little time at looking at the CV. They'll have, like for each position they'll have multiple CVs which would have come. They're just the few people they keep scanning through. If the keywords doesn't really catch onto their eyes quickly, it just slips. Probably you might be the best fit, but probably he would not have seen that. So these mistakes, these are happening. So what I mean to say is, it's very important for you to make a very presentable CV, which gives very clarity of it. So especially as like freshers, what is it that, so you have to talk about yourself, your aspiration, then your educational achievements, and key thing is what you would have worked on, your projects, and what you learned out of it, and what probably you aspire to. So suppose if some of you would have done some project which is passionate to you, like somebody would have built something which they love to work further on, like so okay, fine, in college in the few months what you have, you can only build so much, but you can always mention that yes, you want to take this forward to this, and your thought process around that. It can only be 50% accurate, correct. I mean, nobody expects a very fresh engineer to have all the overview of the world. So, but at least it will give your thought process, the information about your thought process to the hiring manager. That's very important. So the CV should come. Basically, it's like in that few minutes, or I would say 1 or 2 minutes, what he spends on your CV, he should have at least a 70% idea of what you are. So that is the key thing, which is very much required for you to bring in the CV. And it should be truthful. Don't try to fake. Don't try to copy somebody's. See, you can always copy the format and other things, but the information which goes to the CVs has to be your own original, and this is what you're going. Or else what's going, okay, fine, okay, he might like the CV, so you may be lucky enough to even get into the interview call with them and sit in front of them. And then yes, the moment the person, he always keeps the CV on one side and he'll keep asking the questions. So the moment he sees that your CV and you are different, and probably it's not really communicating, your CV is not communicating what you really are. In the first 1 or 2 questions, the hiring manager will immediately make out. He'll just cut short the discussion. So let that not happen. So it's very important to have a CV which is original, which is yourself, which is truthful, of course, but presented in a good manner. So this is what should be your main objective of building a good CV. So that's what I just tried to put it in a few points here. It should be clutter-free, and to extent limited to single page, but there's no hard and fast rule. You can always go to the second page, but give the key information in the first sheet. So, so suppose some of you would have done maybe 2 or 3 internships in between on campus, or probably doing somewhere, even your school days. There are many things some of you would be probably passionate of building something. Yes, take it to your second sheet, put that information, so it's available. So suppose when somebody gets interested in your profile, you look at the sheet and he will know that yes, this person is much more capable, he takes much more initiative, he has done much more things in his life, so he stands a better chance. So it's very important for things to be clear and truthful. And then yes, it's have a well-groomed photograph on the CV to extent possible. But see, this is in today's world, most of the platforms takes a good amount of digital inputs or uploads. So, but there are still few platforms or a few companies and all, they put a limitation in terms of the uploading limit, in few KBs. So under such cases, you probably should have 2 versions of the CV, one with your photo on and one without that. So, so where such restrictions are there, probably you probably have to use the ones with a photograph, because photograph will add a lot of weight in terms of the digital size of your CV. So then, like I told you, see, the career objective and the ambition has to be very clearly thought. You probably have to think for about a week before you pen down that 4 or 5 lines. So it's not just that you should not do it for the heck of it. It should be a very thought, and every time you read it back, you read your CV back, you should say that yes, this is right. You should not feel that oh, I should change this now. So if that keeps happening, then you know that you have not understood yourself. So this is a very key important for people to understand that. And then comes so there's always so there's different companies have different openings, different expectations. So doesn't mean that your CV gets rejected, or probably you get a reject letter from some company. Doesn't mean that you are not employable. Probably there is no match between that company and your skills. So there's opportunities are plenty. The companies got many opportunities. The world has many opportunities. You always have a place. So you have to continue your efforts with your job hunt. And then comes it's important to use some metrics. So I say I'm just showing you one where, on the right side that Amanda here on this, there's some communication, they put some metric, equipment handling, some metric and all. So today it's all about today it's all about data, and data is numbers, and people understands numbers well. So always try to an extent, convert your skills, capabilities to a metric where possible and showcase it. It's easy for people to comprehend, to understand you better. So instead of just saying that good, bad, or good, average, bad kind of thing, it's easy to give a rating of say in 1 to 5 or 1 to 10 rating. It really helps. So then, like I say, it's use soothing colors, and this is something probably it's a personal choice. You probably might think that okay, you are putting the best in your colors. Run it through your friends and somebody well-wishers, and show them your CV and say that whether it is pleasant enough or it's good enough. Pick those inputs, do some corrections, and make it more presentable. And today, I think there are many platforms where you have the formats available. You can always look through how it might look before and then adapt that to your this thing. So that's probably is not a difficult part. So this is about CV, and then very quickly I'll cover the interview questions, and then probably we'll have some interaction in a few minutes. So I was just trying to put few slides for this session, and I just Googled, and I see that information is just available everywhere, and it is from my experience I can say that this is so true, and it is I'm just ratifying that. So instead of me just trying to retype or rewrite the whole thing and put some colorful presentation, I just took some screenshots of it and I just put it here. So let me start with the first one in the left side. The research the company ahead of time to show you all that. So it's very important, whenever you get an interview call, or probably when you're approaching a company, you should know that why you want to be there. So for you to know, it's important for you today. You have the web page. You should know what they're doing. This thing you might even know some friends there, or if you have time, just try to become friends on LinkedIn or somewhere of some of the people who might be working for that company. Then try to message them, and if some of them come to are ready to come on a call with you, ask them all the questions about the company and other things, so that will equip you very much. Always it's like this, it's important for the I would say the hiring manager, or probably the technical manager, somebody who interviews you, the moment he hears something about his company, he will have immediately a topic to get talking. And it's important. So there's a responsibility and effort required from the candidate to keep the communication on during an interview. See, many times, the interview, I've seen candidates, they'll be just waiting for some question to come from the other side. But that's not true. You can wait for a few minutes, and when somebody is really asking a series of structured technical questions, yes, at that time, wait for a question, you answer to that, and then wait for the next question. But if there's a lull, the silence is bad, and don't allow that silence to go on forever or for a longer period during the interview. It's very important for you to be proactive, be available, be lively in an interview. So so what you need to do is just so it's important. So where I'm coming from is, if you do the research about the company, in the back end about what that company is and what their products are, normally talk about the good things about their company with the managers. Every company will have their own set of bad things also, which nobody would like to talk in the first discussion. So pick the good things, talk to them about this thing. So this is what I liked in your this thing. This I feel if you do this some tweak here or some improvement here, I feel that this will be a great product, or this can be different. This is an area I see that there's an improvement. So any negative thing can be put in a very positive way. So if you are probably during your web search or looking at that company's profile, if you are found that okay, this is not right, this can be different, put it as as an improvement. It's very important. So that is how you need to build your communication. So it's important to extent possible know about the company, and if possible, talk to somebody in the company, then you stand very great chance of being selected over, many competitors around on that particular day. So, and then comes, the practice the interview. So many times, like, as one of the key things I have seen, like, I mean, even for us, so if we don't practice or if we don't structure our presentation or thought process or in any discussion, even in a sales pitch, see, I may talk very fluently in some of the areas where I'm very comfortable with. Some of the other areas I may take little more time, probably like, give some pause before I put together things. So it's important to have the interview efficiently, and you have a responsibility to to make that interview run more efficiently. So for that, so efficiency can happen only with practice. So the ideal way is pick a friend, a trusted friend or a parent or a sister, brother, somebody, or and just make a practice. In case, in the absence of anything, record yourself. You yourself will know that where you're falling or where you're making a mistake, where you can improve yourself. The practice can can run into days, probably, no problem. But at the end, like, you yourself will know that, like, when you started, you were this, and probably at the end of your practice, you have improved so much. So it's very important to have a practice. So one is the way you present. So what do you practice about? One is, say, since you are all freshers, like, it's important for you to have your basics strong. So it doesn't mean it's not probably what you learned in your fourth year. Probably it's an overall overview of every aspect what probably you learned in the 1, 2, 3, 4, all 4 years. And people look for your strength on basics. So that's very important at this space. Probably if required, brush your first year books, open your books, or probably check that and get to the basics, get it strong. And if again, so the kind of questions is very much dependent on the kind of company or which company you're approaching to. Like, in the sense, so it's very important. You should have 2 or 3 kinds of questions ready with you. So one probably I'm just giving an example. Like, one probably the kind of questions which might be asked in an engineering services company, or one kind of questions from a manufacturing company. Again, manufacturing company in what area, whether it's the automobile industry or probably is the aircraft industry or satellite industry or something. So there, so you need to think through, like, so it's basically you have to understand which companies is of interest to you, or probably with whom you're talking. Have a set of questions relevant to that and prepare your answers and practice that. So that will make your life very easy, and probably, like, from start to end, you will be very comfortable and probably very fluent in your answers. And that's what really, at the end, the hiring manager would like to see the confidence in you. So you need to be very confident in whatever you're talking. So accuracy, I would say, like, in your first, when you're after college, in your initial interview, nobody looks for around 100% accurate in your answers. The accuracy can be 60, 70%. But the confidence with which you talk really matters. So please make sure that practice and feel confident when you're answering. Then, yes, dress code. Yes, I guess, I mean, you guys are at your generation. I mean, I think you guys call yourself Gen X, right? So you guys are really good at your dress sense and other things. You don't need to be told. But of course, if somebody needs, there are many websites and many people, I think, who can guide you, like, what's good kind of dress that is good for to facing a interview. So, and this printed copies, maybe, I mean, this was probably, I think, little earlier. Yes, but it helps if you carry one copy of your CV, at least, to share with you, which will give an overview, like, in the absence of anything, for people to, I mean, it's difficult for people to recollect, okay, I've seen the CV, now what should I ask him? It's easy if you just slip a copy of your CV across the table to the hiring manager and say that he can read through that and he can ask the questions. At least it will set the context for them to get started, and then probably it will help. Yeah. So then comes the just a moment, please. Hello. Yeah. That's an interesting call. conference. I may not be getting on to this meeting. No, nothing. No, I don't think. There's nothing specific. Yeah, it's only the ratio of that, whether the kind of profiles are out there. Okay. Okay, thanks. Sorry about this. Yeah. So then then at the end of it, like whether leave the interview hall. I mean, of course, the hiring manager will say, "Okay, fine, we have concluded our discussion." Give that the thank you note or some sort of a conclude the meeting with a friendly note or probably with a smile, and just if the atmosphere is good and if you feel comfortable with the hiring manager, you can always ask him that how would you get a feedback, or when you are going to when you will know that and other things. Definitely most people, they will give you some timeline or some sort of a this thing from their side. There will be a commitment from their side. It's important for you people to know, and it also asking this question will also give them a some sort of assurance that you're seriously looking for a job. You're serious about what you're coming. You are responsible for every activity. You're not wasted. You're not just come for the interview for the heck of it. So it's important for you people to really make sure that there's a concluding question or something which you have to ask. So these are the 5 important things. I totally agree with that. Then there are other things like the be punctual. I think it has to be. It goes without saying. Then you should be a listener. But like I told you, don't just keep listening. It's important for you to talk, but talk to the point and be structured in your talking. That's where the practice helps. And be confident. So it's, and then I would say yeah, I would say hand it in with a smiling face, or probably in a very keep the atmosphere light. Don't feel tensed. So one is 2 things will happen. I mean, see if they see a tense face on you, the hiring manager also feels uncomfortable or not so comfortable to ask the right questions to you, or probably and many times he may feel that he'll be probably really you may not give the right questions, right answers, and this kind of thing. So he may keep asking the difficult questions to you. It's important for you to be cool, relaxed. So practice some. I don't know if any of your people are practicing meditation and other things. These are some of the tools which are available. So keep yourself calm before entering the interview, either in the, I would say, personal interview, or today digital interviews. So it's very important to have a smiling face. Keep yourself calm, relax. Yes, you may slightly, I would say, make some mistakes in the whatever you talk here and there, and probably you may talk few things irrelevant, but 1 or 2 is acceptable. People do understand that this is your first few years of your career, and they can't expect 100% perfection out of you. So, but at least they know that you are sincere in your efforts. You're sincerely talking. You're talking out of your heart. It's important for that message to come out. So then speak clearly, cohesively. Take care to answer the questions, ask questions. So these are the 5 points. It's very important. Dress appropriately, arrive in time, body language, expect the unexpected, ask questions. Okay, body language is something I think if you build confidence, if you showcase your confidence, body language will automatically be good, and that's what people will look at. Yeah, and then expect the unexpected. Yes, every interview there will be few questions which probably you would not have anticipated, and not out of 10 questions, not all 10 will be comfortable for you. Yes, it's understandable, acceptable. Wherever you are strong, where you probably had gone prepared, elaborate more on that, spend more time on that, give overall perspective of that around your answer. That will impress the interviewer better. And in case if it is totally unexpected question, which you're this thing, don't try to assume and give a false answer. You can always say that I don't know about it. Sorry, I would like to understand more about it. So you can always say sorry for 1 or 2 questions. That's nothing wrong about it. And then it's important, like I told you, see, to keep asking questions. So one is like at the end, you should ask about like, the feedback aspect, and in between, if you had any queries from your research about the company, if you had seen like, if you want to know more about the company, like how many staff or what kind of, what area they are working on, like, a few things which are few queries, you can always ask them. So people will be happy to answer. But interview is something you can take it this way, like 80% of the talk will be done. I would say 70% of the talk will be done by the interviewer, and 30% beyond answering will be your questions. Okay. So then probably this, I would put it this way: instead of me reading this, you can spend few 10 minutes interactive.
Kriti?
Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Thank you, sir, for that enlightening talk. I'm
Yeah.
sure our participants have learned several valuable lessons today to guide them down their path to a successful career. Right now, we will have Q&A session. Participants, you are welcome to ask questions in the Q&A section, and we have one question, sir, from Tarun Teja. What are important points for to build a startup for a student?
Interesting question. I would like to love to answer this. What are the important points to build a startup? See, okay, I mean, I would like to know which stream he is in to start, or who is it? She, right?
Tarun Teja, sir.
Yeah, Tarun Teja, yeah. So which stream is he from?
CSC.
ENC.
Computer science. Computer science.
Computer science, yeah. Okay, great, yeah. Yeah, Tarun, yeah. Startup computer science is the easiest thing. I mean, I would put it this way. So today, like I tell you, so one is you should be curious. Are you solving some problem? You should understand that, and why you want to make a startup. So startup just for the heck of getting some investments from some XYZ is not really, should not be the target. It's very important, like whether if you really want to have a startup, have you identified a problem? There are today enough, so as on the digital aggregation, or probably there are many areas where you need the digitization today, and that's where, and computer science, and especially this apps and digitization is a evolving thing. Like it's not there's so many areas where you can build in. So identify a problem. So make a problem statement very clear. Probably run it through a couple of guys, and if they are convinced, if some of those people who are from the industry or who are from that area, or as a user, if he still feels that yes, this is an area where I can do something about it, then think of your solution about it. And today, for a computer science person, the easiest thing is like you should be you can easily build a proof of concept. Like, it's very easy for you people to do, or at least some sort of a wireframe model which you can build, present it to few people, get opinion. So once it is ready, there's always people who are willing to, who will be looking for some. And one is your product, second is you. People invest, I would say, like I can put it this way: it's 40% on your idea and product, and 60% on you. So it's you is important in a startup, especially if you're looking for a funded startup. And I believe that when you mean startup, the startup immediately I would say, like refers to funding somewhere. So or else probably will use the word business. So what I mean to say is it's you. So the person who's going to fund you, or who's going to talk to you about funding at some point, you look at your passion, how passionate you are about whatever it is, and your ability to look the problem at scale. So it's not that like you're solving a problem for next month or next 3 months. The problem should be something which is solvable at scale over a period of time, and how you are going to use. So it's very important to showcase that your passion, your overview, or I would say like perspective of the understanding the problem and the solution to that, and how you are going to this thing. And of course, startup is, I would say, like it's lot of efforts. The glamour is really great, but without efforts, I have not seen any startup moving any inch forward. Hope I answered right.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for that answer, sir.
Yeah.
On a lighter note, Mirza Sadiq wants to know how to apply for job in your esteemed organization.
So I put it this way. See, solar is an area. Yes, I mean, I don't know again. From which stream is it from?
Hasn't been mentioned, sir.
Okay, fine. So I
He's,
mean,
so he's from mechanical stream, sir.
mechanical. Yeah. Okay, great. So okay, I'll put it this way. So at this, so always approachable. Send the profile. I put it. I'm involved in few things like there's a manufacturing industry and there's a solar industry and also help a placement company also. So if not in my own organization, I can always refer it to a place where it can probably reach some potential employer. To that extent, I think I can always help you. You can always send it across.
I think Madhu Singh wants to ask a question, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Can you unmute? Yeah, please unmute.
So you told you co-founded Energy Star. So when you graduated, you had this in your mind, or you had something else as your passion? And follow-up question is that, like, sometimes passion won't work. Many of the people from this meeting will have a passion to clear UPSC and serve India. But what if it doesn't work? How can we go further? Like, how can we rise from that?
Yeah. So okay, I have put it this way. See, okay, if somebody is chasing UPSC exam or somebody from engineering stream, they chase CAT exam, for the MBA. It's very highly competitive. What I mean to say is the intake is so small percentage against so many who apply, right? So what I mean to say is, yes, always look at your, see, passion is something inherent. Like, okay, first let me answer this. So if somebody wants to try UPSC, there's a limited time frame. Yes, you can try, you take one attempt, you take two attempts, maybe three attempts. But in third attempts, also probably for some reason, there's always luck or whatever you call preparation, or so many aspects in life, right? It doesn't happen. So then don't go on chasing what they call, don't keep beating a dead horse or a dead donkey or whatever they call it, So don't keep chasing something which that, there's always a time frame. See, life has, like I told you, see you guys at 22, you're starting. Okay, and probably by 2050, you guys probably will be talking like me, like talking of your experience after 30 years. What I mean to say here is, there's a limited time frame. Always look at your aspirations, ambitions, realizing your passion against a time frame. There's always, okay, 2-3 years, yes, it can go here and there, but there's nothing called like infinite. You can't chase something infinitely. So it's very important to be practical and put a time frame to every ambition and every passion of yours to realize, I would say. So now touching back to my career thing, I was okay. I was a mechanical engineer from MVJ CE. Okay, but I was a hobby electronics guy. I loved electronics. It so happened that at those days, there is still not much digital electronics. It's all about analog electronics. I had a very good friend. And in fact, we shared so much of a common interest, and we started building a lot of even while being at college, we were doing some multimeters, we were building some small, I would say, oscilloscope kind of thing. We out of passion. So it gradually became we built a product and we started taking it to some shop guy, and he got interested. We started doing in a small way kind of thing. So what I mean to say is, there was an element of moonlighting. Moonlighting is a word where you have your steady properly paying job while you keep working on your passion, or probably building on that, and trying a commercial side of it also. So that's what we were doing. We were just in our free time, we used to check that. And at one point that became big enough. So it was worth trying full time on that. So that's one part of it. So now when I come to, so I was passionate about product development. And it so happened that there's one is passion. Second is you should always see your passion in sync with reality. So I happened to work for Tata Power Solar. Those earlier days it was called Tata BP Solar, and it was in this solar photovoltaic field, and that gave me an overview or understanding of that industry. Today, what I've done is, I know that solar has a great potential and it's a growing potential, and I'm trying to bring in my passion of product development in the industry which is happening. So it's important. So there's always a commercial reality you should always look for in life. Passion, you can't be an artist. You should always look at a commercial reality. So that's why the worldly overview, or probably understanding of the industries which are happening, is very important. Hope I am clear.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So there's another question from Mirza. Sir, do you think it is a good idea to immediately pursue MBA after BE, or is it better to work for 1 or 2 years and then pursue MBA?
What my understanding is, if you see most MBA courses, they look for at least 2 or 3 years experience prior to that. So MBA is more of business, and I would put this way: after BE, nobody unless you are running your own startup or probably you are part of your family business. Most of the roles will be more technical. It's out of your 30 years career, the initial, I would say 2 or 3 years will be highly technical. So gradually, the business element will start coming into business, means the management side of it. Initially, probably you'll be managing a small product or a small platform or something. So, and gradually you'll be start managing more people, then more sections, then interdepartmental sections. There'll be coordination between different companies. So that's how it evolves. So the initial 3 or 4 years, it will be technical. And you'll be, while doing technical, you'll be picking the elements of the business aspects in the company. So now, if somebody is really want to do an MBA, it's important to do an MBA. And I can say that most of these post-graduation degrees, whether it's MTech or MS or MBA, will probably be useful for a person after about 10 years of his career. So initial first 10 years, I would say BE or probably BE with MBA, BE with MS will almost be very similar. I would say in the kind of works and the kind of this thing. But what will happen is there are two kinds of people. A passionate person, or probably who would have picked so much of skills while working the first 10 years, he will be almost at par with a person having some post-graduation at later part of his life. Or else, yes, there is this MBAs and MS has a slight edge over just a BE at later part of their career. So what I would say is, it's in MBA, first is go to an industry, see that whether that industry is in sync with your aspirations or expectations or your ambitions, and then spend about 2-3 years there, then go to an MBA. So the MBA will teach you how to manage more logically, more efficiently, more thinking at a, I would say, global perspective with the kind of looking at the numbers, how to manage that business. So that's when probably you will be more useful post your MBA.
Thank you, sir. Okay, one more. Gagandeep. So pursuing masters in foreign, would it be better to pursue masters in foreign or our country? What do you think?
Okay, there are multiple elements. Let's say I have worked in Germany, I worked in US. I also spent a lot of time in India with Indian manager, with a German manager, with a US manager. So my point is, from this I think I can tell you, but masters in foreign, it's again depends on how ambitious you are and what is the priority in life. So if somebody is really keen on research oriented kind of thing, so when somebody studies in foreign university, 99% they end up working there for some time. So if somebody is very keen about research oriented or some kind of work and those kind of things, doing masters in foreign and I would say in US or Europe, and spending a few years in a related field there, getting more skilled, and then returning to India will be a great thing. But if somebody is just looking for another, I would say, a corporate kind of role or some sort of a management role, those kind of things, I see today there are many good Indian institutes like SP Jain Institute or some of this, many of these institutes are there who ISB and this kind of things. You can always do your masters here. Both MTech and IITs give so much of opportunities for MTech. So, and also, today there are many. So you just do your masters here, and companies will are open to both kinds of, I would say, the professionals. So what I would say is, if you're just looking at a career ambition within a corporate, masters from India is good enough. If somebody is really looking for a research oriented stuff, then probably I think you should chase masters outside the country.
Thank you, sir. A lot of our participants are requesting for your LinkedIn profile to approach you. So if you could please share it to Shima ma'am, we will give it to them.
Sure, we'll do that. Yeah. Okay. Hope that's done right.
Yes. I think that's
thank
it.
you. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, sir, for your time. We hope to see more of you and more entrepreneurs like you to pass on your wisdom to our students. Thank you again for your time, sir.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for the patient hearing. Or somehow I was not too comfortable with this digital medium, but yes, I have to accept that. You can't really relate to the queries and other things. But yes, this is the way moving ahead. We have to accept it. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Yeah, thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Request the speaker and participant to join Career Center in portal, a unique mentoring program. The link to register is dropped in the chat box. Do use it and register. Requesting participants to fill the feedback form just right after the webinar ends. May I now call upon Dr. Shima Ramesh to propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Kriti. Good evening, all. I feel honored and privileged to get the opportunity to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. On behalf of MVJ College of Engineering and on my own behalf, I convey my regards and hearty thanks to our chief guest, Mr. Raghuram Paniam, 1988 batch alumnus from MVJC. The knowledge shared with us and your guidance will always be very precious to us. Thank you once again and hope in future we will have similar session with you again. We are grateful to our chairman, Sir Sri M.J. Balachandran and the management of MVJC for encouragement, which always helps us to carry out such important events. And also I would like to thank Dr. P. Mahabaleshwarappa, the principal of MVJC, for extending all his support for organizing this event. I would like to thank Dr. M. Brinda, Vice Principal, MVJ College of Engineering, for the guidance and support that she always extends in all the activities that we undertake. I would like to thank all the faculty, alumni, coordinator, and the students who have gathered here. The event was not possible without your valuable contribution. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
I can disconnect, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Yeah.